All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and this is a comparison I've really been meaning to do for a long time. I've had these two watches in the collection for quite a while. Actually, this one not too long, but this one I've had in the collection for well over a year now. And I've wanted to do a side-by-side comparison to these of these two watches, obviously because this is the Turtle reissue from 2015, this being the SRP775, and this came out, I think, near the beginning of 2017 this year. This is the deep blue military diver, the 300-meter military diver, which, if you guys take a look at the case design, is basically very, very similar to the Turtle. Now, when this deep blue first came out, a lot of people were, had a lot of heartburn over the fact that it looked a lot like it, especially because Deep Blue, I think in 2016, brought out their NATO diver, which is basically a blown-up version of the SKX from Seiko. And they kind of developed that when there was a lot of rumors going around about the SKX being discontinued. I don't want to get too much into that, but I think that kind of pushed a lot of this type of development from Deep Blue watches. So anyways, I'm just going to get into the specs, the sizes, do a little bit of side-by-side with these watches, and tell you a little bit about them and kind of my feelings of the two watches. Okay, so this one we're going to get into first, this being the Seiko SRP775. Now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong down at the bottom, you can leave it in the comments, but I do think that when the reissues came out, the SRP775 was the first variation of the reissues, being the gilded model there. I've had this watch, like I said, for well over a year now, and I really, really enjoy the watch. I wear it quite a bit. Obviously, it is a remake of the original Turtles from the late 1960s through the 80s when they were making this case design, and it was one of their most popular case designs out there. This watch having a day-date function over there at 3 o'clock. This is running the Seiko 4R36 movement. Very tried and true movement from Seiko. They run this movement in quite a number of their watches, including their Monsters and stuff like that. A lot of stuff is moving onto the 6R15, but I really do think that the 4R36 is a great movement and really deserves to be in a lot more watches in the future. 24 joule in this movement, and it's 21,600 vibrations per hour. This is an ISO rated diver's watch. Wonderful case polishing, as Seiko always does on their watches here. And as you guys can see, this watch has drilled lugs. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on my caliper here, and we will get some quick dimensions on this watch. Really easy to take the measurement from side to side because this does not have any crown guards on it. So you're looking at 44.2 from side to side on this watch. Lug end to lug end on this one, we are looking at 47.1. And I'll just tell you, this watch has 22 millimeter lug openings. And a thickness on this watch at 13.2. So it gives you an idea of the overall size of this watch. 120 click bezel. Works very well. On this one, I'm lucky. It lines up really good. Everything on the bezel and stuff. Now this one is on a aftermarket Uncle Seiko waffle strap that I have it on. It did come on the stainless steel bracelet, which, to be honest with you, I don't think is the... Oops, sorry about that. I don't think it's the greatest bracelet around from Seiko. I'm not big on their, I don't know, something just about the bracelets. I don't like the way they wear and stuff like this. I'll probably eventually get a strap code to put on here, but great looking watch. Definitely worth the money. This is running Hardlex crystal, proprietary from Seiko. So we'll jump over here and we're going to take a look at this one. This being the Deep Blue Military Diver, okay? Now, obviously an homage, quite a bit of difference, as you guys can tell right off the bat if you pay attention. We do have a crown over here at 3 o'clock position instead of the 4 o'clock position that you have on the Seiko. Also, this is a date-only watch instead of a day-date. That has to do with the movement. This watch is running a Sellita SW200. I do believe it's a 25 joule movement in this watch. Very nice, smooth running movement. Basically, this Sellita is a copy of an ETA movement. Sellita got a little more popular in the last decade with the threat from the Swiss of slowing down with the number of ETA movements going out there for aftermarket watches and stuff. But very nicely done on this watch. This watch is running sapphire crystal as opposed to the Hardlex, so there's definitely an advantage there on that. Also, this watch has a 120 click bezel. Now, I'll tell you guys right off, this bezel is not as stiff or strong feeling. I don't want to say stiff, but as strong feeling as the bezel on the Seiko. There's no back play in it, but it feels like it moves much easier to me, a whole lot easier. But everything lines up on the watch just perfectly. I've never had a problem with a deep blue. They always line up. It seems like some of these boutique brands do a lot better job of that than the bigger brands out there. So this is hand winding and hackable, which also this watch is. Now this is running the first version of the Sellita SW200, and I've heard some reviews out there that there are issues with too much hand winding of this watch. You can do some damage to the movement. So I don't hand wind this one at all. I shake it to get it running and stuff like that. But go ahead and show you. This one comes on a Hydro 55 strap, which is an excellent, excellent rubber strap. Did not come on a metal bracelet, but I think the value in this strap is almost up there with a watch that comes in a metal bracelet. Very nice, flexible. I didn't show you guys the case back on the Seiko, but if any of you guys are Seiko fans, you know what it's got on the back there. You've got the Seiko Tsunami. I will go ahead and show it there. You got the deep blue logo there with the military diver and the diver going down. Now on the back of this watch, I have that, if you look down there, the 157 out of 1,000. You know, I never read anywhere that this was a limited edition watch, but I can't find them anywhere right now on the websites out there or on the sales sites and stuff like that. They seem to have disappeared. You know, so I don't know what's going on with that. If anyone does know, if you guys know if they're sold out of these models, if they're just not making them anymore, go ahead and comment down there at the bottom. So I'm going to get the caliper fired up now. Go ahead and take a measurement on this watch. So as you guys can see, from side to side on this watch, you're looking at like quite a bit bigger, almost 2 full millimeters bigger on that one. From lug tip to lug tip, you're looking at 50, almost 51 on this watch. And then the thickness on this case is at 14.2, so it's almost a full millimeter. It's really like a full millimeter bigger in every dimension on this watch, and it definitely feels like that. So definitely beautiful case polishing, which Deep Blue does. Now I will say that they rate this as a 300 meter watch. It does have the helium release valve on the side there, but I do not believe Deep Blue is an ISO tested watch. Now they do... you know, if you go to their website, they do test these watches with divers. I'm sure they do a lot of stuff, but I've never read anywhere that they're actually ISO tested. Again, if you guys know different, if these are an ISO tested watch, let me know down there below in the comments. I do believe that the Seikos are all ISO rated, especially in the Prospex models like this one is here. So side by side, you guys look at these two watches, you can see there's quite a bit of difference in the size of them and stuff like that, but both great, great watches. Loom-wise, Seiko all day long blows it away. I mean, it's the Seiko #1 is your super bright Seiko loom, and it lasts all night long, and it stays super bright. This is a duller Swiss-style blue loom on this, and it does last all night long, but it is not as easy to read the dial of the watch in the middle of the night. Now, I know for diving purposes and stuff, that's not really that important. But for me, I like to wear these big watches. Sometimes I'm wearing them in bed at night. I've got older eyes, and it's easy to see these big indices on these watches, especially when they've got that good Seiko glow. This one does not have quite the glow on it. So if you guys can find one of these deep blues and you're into watch collecting and stuff like that, they seem to be getting more scarce, harder to find out there. I'd say pick one up. I think it's a great watch. If you're going to have one, though, if you're only going to have one, I would say definitely go with one of the Turtle reissues. Now, they've got a ton of different colors out there available on these, and you guys can definitely go check them out. So I do have independent videos to each of these watches. I will put a link below so you guys can check those out. And, you know, hey, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.